everyone, and welcome to the Contingency Plan Podcast. My name is Jedi Master David, and with me, as always, is Darth Austin.
Hello, everyone.
Had a bit of a hiatus last week, man.
I took a little vacation. It was not a fun vacation, but it was a vacation.
A vacation in your mind, on your bed.
A sleeping vacation. You know what's great? I don't even remember my dreams, and I slept the entire time. So it was super uneventful.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that can be good, but obviously last week, and I think I know I put it up on Twitter. I'm pretty sure I put it up on Facebook too, but which you can totally follow us there at TC Plan Podcast, you know, all that good crap. But yeah, the Darth was sick last week, and you know what? Honestly, I attempted to sit down and do like a half-hour episode, and then I remembered why we were so scheduled, because there's nothing to talk about.
Yeah, it's pretty barren right now.
there is absolutely nothing to talk about right now, and unless you want to like debate fake Mike Zero news or you want to speculate on some random thing, there wasn't. I looked, and you know, I already wasn't feeling it because it got to Sunday. I was doing a lot of stuff Saturday. I was like, well, okay, let me see if I can cobble something together. Nope, wasn't going to happen. Did not happen, man. And you know what? I'll also tell you this, too. Last week, I felt came at a good time. I didn't even really want to read the book.
See, I had gotten like maybe a third of the way through, and honestly, this is not really my favorite book in the series, so I was not really feeling it. So...
Yeah, I mean, well, we were going to get back into New Jedi Order for those of you listening. Obviously, we had set up the schedule, and I'm actually looking for, what book was that now that I think about it? It was the Conquest. So Edge of Victory Conquest in the New Jedi Order. And yeah, I mean, we were going to continue the story. And actually, I will say that this is the part where most people seem to think that the new Jedi Order starts getting better. And I don't really remember this until I like dive back into it, to be honest with you, because it's been a while. But like mine is a little further down the road. Like we're getting very close to my favorite parts of this particular line.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, that whole week, it wasn't a bad week or anything. I just really didn't want to read the book.
Right.
I don't know what it was. I was going
Sometimes
to.
you just don't feel like it. I didn't really want to read these comics until last minute. I read 4 of them right after work today.
Yeah, and I refreshed myself as well with them today, and I was a little late getting on because I too was finishing the last one or two, just as a reread. But the other thing was, I generally speaking, my day goes, I get up, I work. I'm obviously still working from home. And then after work, I probably eat, around 4 o'clock, or something like that. And then after work is officially over, I go and I work out for about an hour. And because I'm kind of still doing the whole intermittent fasting thing, I'm not eating past 6, all that good stuff. Right. So I'm trying to bop it all in this time window. And yeah, man, I just, some days I just feel like a little nap. And instead of working out after work, I started watching something on YouTube. And then I just sort of zonked out for about an hour. And I woke up in one of those, kind of FU moods.
Because you didn't really want to take a nap.
No, not really. I didn't really intend to. I was just, sort of laying there watching a video. But yeah, man, it was an odd one last week, and nothing really out of the ordinary. I just really didn't feel like getting into a book. And sometimes we do audibles and do different stuff, but obviously because you were sick, not much to be done, man. Not much to be done.
Well, and honestly, that's one good thing about our channel. Like you mentioned, the Mike Zeros. Right now, I would be so mentally dead if I had to be one of those channels constantly pumping out content, whether there was some to be had or not. Yeah. I would get tired of the theories and, I read this, here's some news. It might be news, scouring the internet for all that stuff. I mean, that's the part that is not fun of being a Star Wars fan, the in-betweens. I would not want to dwell on that.
Well, and we never built this show to be like the cutting edge breaking stories, weird speculation, insider BS, and everything. And granted, I mean, we listen to some of that stuff, but
we also have day jobs, and we can't just drop everything and do that right away.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely do have a lot of other stuff to do in general, but we love talking Star Wars, and that's why we do it. But yeah, having a little bit more of the regimented schedule, at least have the topics sort of pre-picked out is, I think, done wonders, honestly,
It
for
has.
me.
We don't wait till halfway through the week, like, hey, what do we decide we're going to do again? Then we cram and cram and cram.
Yeah, and obviously this week we are going to run through the first 10 issues of the Bounty Hunters comic book series, which has not necessarily been widely well received. So we'll talk a little bit about that, but we're actually caught up after this on the series. So
Yeah.
I think the plan is as we go along, we'll start just kind of introducing comics, maybe one or two with an episode of something.
Yeah.
So we might be talking about a book, but also break out, hey, here's, this Dr. Aphra issue 9 or something like that. We're just going to...
and we've been kind of doing that with Light of the Jedi as well. Or not Light of the Jedi. What is that comic series in High Republic? I can't think of it right now.
It's the High Republic comic, yeah.
Oh, is it just self-titled? Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, and I think
though we're behind.
True. I think we'll probably have one episode next month that will have like multiple. It'll have like multiple series, like a comic in multiple series, because we do have Aphra 9, we have Bounty Hunters 11, we've got Vader 11, we've got High Republic. I don't think we did 3.
We have 3, 4, and isn't 5 about to come out?
I don't remember, but I know we at least have 3 and 4 that we have to discuss.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's another. Was there one
mainline Star Wars series? Did you say that?
I don't remember if that's. Anyway, I have a stack sitting for you on the table, so the next time we're able to get together, I've got a stack of comics, and then I've got some more doubles that I found. If you can look through them and see if there is anything that you don't have. Another cool thing that did come out this past week, and honestly, I probably should have texted you to see if you wanted it. But you know how we've had the 40th anniversary of Empire covers?
Yeah.
They put out a specific comic book with just all the covers and the stories from the illustrator behind each cover.
Oh, that'd be cool. That would be cool.
Yeah, if you want one of those, I'll swing back by and see if they have any more. But I was one of those where I was like, I don't know if he's going to want this or not. So.
Yeah, no, I would definitely enjoy that. I love collecting the variants. Okay. They are definitely my favorite.
Well, the thing is looking through that, there are variant covers that they came out with, and it also tells you on which comic this was put. But like, there were a couple that were like, oh wow, I would have definitely bought that one had I have seen it.
Right.
There was one where they were on Hoth, because one of my favorite covers, and it's only because of the speeders that the rebels were using on Hoth. They're like my favorite kind of ship. But there was another one where you get the view from Luke as he's hanging from the AT-AT, getting ready to throw the grenade.
Oh yeah.
So there's that, and I was like, ooh, I would have liked that one. He has a saber out, and there was also one where pretty gruesome cover, but it's just the head of Vader from the cave where you see Luke's face.
Oh, nice.
That one was a cool cover. So there's actually some cool things, but yeah, I'll try and swing back through and I'll see if they have another. They had like 4 issues that one I don't think was like. I don't feel like that one's going to be the most popular, but they do tend to sell out of their Star Wars content for the most part. Mm-hmm. So I'm not the only one going in there. Yeah, man. But so I guess aside from being sick and everything, how's everything been? Well, you were sick last week, so how's this week been going?
This week's been decent. It's been kind of a blur. Really didn't do a whole lot. Still getting some rest and trying to recuperate a bit, but not too bad. I'm dealing with the struggles of trying to eat solid foods with an extremely loose baby tooth right at the front of my mouth. That's fun.
Oh, geez, really?
Yeah,
Sorry,
so I went to
my
the
phone kind of went off there. I don't know if that caught on the mic or not. Hopefully not.
well, I didn't hear it, so hopefully not.
There you go. Sorry. Continue solid
Yeah.
foods.
Yeah, no, it's terrible getting old. No, so I went to the local pub and got some wings last Sunday and bit down on one, and my tooth, I made this terrible cracking noise, and it had like an inch of play back and forth. It's like, I'm gonna lose this thing, and then I didn't lose it, and I was kind of hoping at that point I would. Like, I ran into the bathroom. It's like, how am I not bleeding right now? This is crazy. But so I'd gotten scheduled in. Most dentist office around here were like, oh, yeah, it's going to be a week out before we even look at it, and then probably another week before we pull it. It's like, why?
Wow.
Why is it so busy right now for routine cleanings and crap? This is stupid. But found someone finally, went in, got looked at, got a full x-ray of my mouth. Turns out I have 2 baby teeth. I have 2 missing incisors.
Dude,
I've got a weird mouth.
I remember this as a kid. Like, you and your darn baby teeth, they just like, it's the strangest.
It was
it's
a struggle. I remember it being a struggle to get rid of them.
it's not really all that strange. I mean, it definitely happens, but it's atypical, and it's like, dude, you're you're not old, but it's like, come on, man, get rid of these flipping baby teeth already. Yeah, you hit me on that memory because it was, a couple months ago where I was actually doing a Zoom call with my team. We were doing a Zoom lunch, and I bit down on my sandwich and I cracked one of my back teeth. It cracked a little piece off of it. So obviously I had to get some tooth work, but I just remember, like having a little bit of tooth, that you spit out.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. It's like you look at it and you're like, what the hell do I do? And I was just like, so I think I'm going to go ahead and get off here. I just cracked a tooth, so I'm going to figure this out. It was so stupid. Teeth, man. Yeah, but hey, take care of your teeth. Brush and floss. It's something we both do, but unfortunately, it's, it is
Things
what it
happen
is.
still.
I still have my teeth. I'm happy about my teeth. I can't complain about it. I don't have any baby teeth, but, know. Baby teeth.
I go get that looked at. I'm like, she literally says, I could probably just grab it with my hand and rip it out right now. It's like, so can you go ahead and do that? No, we're going to have to reschedule you. It's like, you've already disinfected me. You're disinfected. You've got the tools right there. Why can't you just rip this thing out? Like, I saw the picture. It's hanging on by a single tiny, tiny nerve. Like, it's just past the point where I'm willing to pull it myself. It's like, just do it. Just do it. And I get the fever.
Do the old string in the door trick.
Yeah. Well, actually, I have a variation of that with my boy. We've done this a few times now. We don't do the string and door because I feel like it would freak him out. But we tie the string to our dog's collar, and then I call the dog, and it runs over to me, and it yanks his tooth right out. It's great. And then the tooth goes flying, and we never find it, and he never gets his dollar. It's okay.
No, there you go, man.
So it works for me, too. But, unfortunately, I get the fever the day I'm scheduled to get it pulled, so I've been sitting with this loose tooth for a week and a half. Other than that, I had a good week, but that's been fun.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Yeah, I don't know. There hasn't been much going on here. I had the truck work done, so truck's back and it's happy, I guess.
Good. Now I just got to deal with that little panel for your window switch.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's other small things. I mean, that's the joys of vehicles, just, general wear and tear. It works, kind of.
I've gotten to the point where when I roll down the driver's side window, it sounds like a literal siren screaming at someone. So I do need to get that dealt with.
Yeah.
Good old Chevy and their windows.
Well, the thing is that, I mean, there's so much plastic, but the thing is like I remember back when I was buying like my first car, and I don't actually remember if you were aware, but my first car was almost a 65 Mustang.
Yes, I know you've talked about that before.
It was
yeah.
$3,000, and it wasn't in bad shape. It was just a very base level, like it would have been the Grandma Mustang in
Right,
65.
like a V6 automatic.
I think it was a 4-cylinder, dude.
Oh, really?
But it was so cool. But the thing I mean, it's not really safe. I wound up with a $2,500 Honda Accord, which was great. I mean, it was a fine car.
Price still would be on the road if you kept it.
Well, if I hadn't wrecked it, that was the one I wrecked.
Yeah.
In the winter, which wasn't my fault, but whatever. But the thing
wasn't that like you?
It was going down. It was going down that.
Did
one
you get
hill.
rear-ended or
no? It was somebody. It was winter. It was down a steeper hill, and the person in front of me went sideways. Mm-hmm. So I couldn't do anything. And it wasn't like a high speed collision, but
right. Which is the worst. If it's slow motion, you have all the time in the world to react and nothing you can do about it.
Right. But they lost control and spun, darn near pointed the car at me.
Yeah.
But I couldn't. And when I went to whip it into the bank, which would have either way, the car was pretty much screwed because the bank was down a little bit. So it probably would have done something to the undercarriage or at least one of the wheels or whatever. But when I went to whip it in the bank, it just didn't want to go. Mm-hmm. It was just slick. And I wound up, going into them. So airbags deployed, both cars were totaled. Wasn't a huge deal, really, at the end of the day. But, I mean, it sucked because you're like a kid. But my point is that I remember the conversation about windows. Oh, man, you want those manual windows? You want the because those automatics, man, they break all the time, dude. Oh, yeah, manual windows.
Until that breaks.
Well, yeah, true. I mean, there's an equal opportunity breakage, really, but you have potential for electron. But anyway,
right?
Yeah, nobody's thinking about that anymore.
No,
nobody wants a manual window. I don't even know if. I mean, I don't even think that's an option
that's a
anymore.
thing. I have literally the most basic new Chevy you can get, and I know that's not an option.
Yeah, it's wild, dude. So, but yeah, rest of the week is what it is. Truck work got done. I have to turn over the mower this weekend to actually get it working and put new gas and all that good stuff. Get the stabilize out of the lines and all that good garbage. And but yeah, I've got the grill out a few times. Grilled some stuff. That's fun.
Cool.
Yeah. So that was good. It's been raining, so hopefully the fertilizer on the grass is going to take care of some of the spots. Maybe. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Real adult type things, grass and lawnmowers. It's great.
Yeah. Don't act like it doesn't excite you.
It really doesn't excite me at all. I hate grass. I can grow things, but grass has never been one I can grow. It's stupid. So anyway, I know that you guys have been super riveted for about 18 minutes, but I think we ought to start looking into our series here. And first impressions, we tend to over-explain a lot of stuff here. This isn't one that
like
I really
how our
feel
week was.
Well, yeah, but I mean, we tend to dive, reasonably deep, at least give a lot of the story.
We might not be good at analyzing things, but we do it.
Well, we give a lot of the story when we run through this stuff, but to be honest with you, I'm not really all that interested. This series, depending on where you look, has not necessarily garnered very, very good press. A lot of people have been pretty critical of it, and I'll actually be honest. Some of the critiques I don't understand. I think it was mainly that they didn't read on, because I think it would have been explained a little bit later. But essentially, this is kind of the offshoot of the Target Vader series, which was very well received.
Yeah, wasn't that like a 75 issue series?
No. Target Vader was like 4 or 5 issues. It was a short.
Oh, it
series.
wasn't?
No, yeah, it was a very short series. But it was good, and we might honestly go back through that at some point. I have them. Obviously, I read them as they came out, but we introduced a new character in. Let me actually
Balance.
Yeah, I was gonna try and remember his
Tail or something like that.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can.
I mean, we'll go by Valance, but we introduced Valance, who was a former flyboy for the Empire, and he was shot down.
Same time as Solo.
Yeah, we didn't know that though until this series, and we'll get to it. But he was shot down at one point, lost a leg, became a grunt, and lost a lot. Basically, he is like a Terminator.
Yeah.
He's basically a full
We even
robot.
have a cover that basically looks like Terminator.
Well, the thing is until this series, and I guess maybe, I don't know if it's not paying attention or whatever, but I'm starting to wonder, what about him is actually human. I mean, because his head is, fully robotic now. I didn't, for some reason, I just thought it was like a Kano,
Right.
which coincidentally, I'm not watching it yet, but
I already watched it. It was actually
dumb?
really good.
Is it good? Because I've
it was
heard
pretty
both.
entertaining.
I've heard both. I heard that there was too much about a new guy that nobody cared about, but
Yes,
Kano
there
was
was.
really cool.
Kano was pretty cool. There's actually, I don't want to talk a whole lot about it, but there's a train.
Spoilers.
There's a training montage where Kung Lao trains Kano, because just for a small amount of time, he's a good guy. Very small amount of time. And you remember as a kid, you get into the stun lock where you just keep doing the leg sweep, sweep. And then someone would try and jump, and you would anticipate it and leg sweep them as soon as they land. They do that in the training montage and actually acknowledge it. They do a lot of the tropes from the games, and it's pretty awesome.
See, that was the vibe and to be honest with you, I probably won't watch it forever.
That's understandable.
I'm just not that kind of person. I don't really get super interested in new stuff, and it's just eventually I'll watch it randomly. Unless it's something that I'm really excited about.
Like Star Wars, obviously, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But I had heard that they have kind of a lot of cheesy callbacks, which cheesy can be good, but callbacks to old stuff. They don't have Johnny Cage, apparently.
No, he's actually. So they're talking like this is going to be a Marvel universe thing. They want to do a bunch of movies, so they're going to eventually go off and find him. And I don't know how I feel about that.
Listen, we don't need the Boone verse, okay?
Well, hey, think about how many games he's made. He's into that kind of stuff.
Mortal Kombat it has lore, and I don't know if you
Yes.
remember, but they had the TV show.
Yeah,
And I watched that
did
TV
not
show.
watch it.
I did. It was on after wrestling on TNT at the time. But yeah, I just, there's lore, but it's not good.
Yeah,
It's really not.
It's choppy. It's really bad.
Well,
And
right
even
now,
when they redid it, in Mortal Kombat 9 and 10, it's still really rough.
well, I think right now, as of the new Mortal Kombat, Liu Kang is evil. He's I think he's dead, but evil and dead.
Quan Chi resurrected him, and he's working for him along
Yeah,
with
but
three other.
him and Katana are evil.
Yes.
And,
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Right.
But let's be honest. The only thing that we really care about with Mortal Kombat is Sub-Zero and Scorpion, and they do that pretty well.
I don't.
They actually
really.
do that really well.
I mean,
you didn't. That was my favorite part of the whole.
No, I'm
series.
not gonna say that they're not cool, but
I mean, yes,
they're
Liu Kang and Kung Lao are pretty awesome too. Don't get me wrong.
No, but the thing is Sub-Zero and Scorpion are the same formula as Ryu and Ken, or
Yeah,
whatever duo. Sometimes they're enemies, sometimes they're friends. They fight, they train, they do this stuff, and they have convoluted backstories. But what has always interested me, with Street Fighter, was okay. So yeah, Ryu and Ken are fine, but I would rather figure out more about anyone else.
Yeah.
Who's this Cammy chick? Or Guile's off kicking butt, or E Honda or something like that. It's okay, right, Ryu and Ken, sweet.
Well, then you actually might like this movie because they focus a lot more on Sonya, a little bit on Jax and stuff like that, but it's going to take a long time to get into. I mean, they introduce a lot of characters from probably the first 5 games, honestly, but like they have Melina in it and a couple
I've seen some of the promo stuff. Jax looks like Steve Harvey.
Reptile's
like a younger
pretty
Steve
sweet.
Harvey.
Like Reptile was pretty sweet in it.
Yeah, Reptile was kind of. I
well,
think,
he's not a person in the movie.
Yeah, I know, but so I might be blurring the lines, but was Reptile wasn't in the first movie? It was the second movie that we discovered Reptile, correct?
Yeah, I think so.
Annihilation, I think, was the second one.
Mm-hmm.
So his fighting style was always kind of cool, just his movements, and the guy that they got for the movie, it just looked cool.
Right.
But at any rate, yeah, I'm not saying that I won't ever watch it. I'm just saying that
there's a lot of hype around it right now.
Mortal Kombat's one that you could really cheese. Like,
I feel like you could.
I just don't.
Could you not do cheesy with Mortal Kombat though? Honestly,
yes, you could make a straight fighting movie out of that. You absolutely,
but would
absolutely
the feel be
could.
right? But would it feel right?
Absolutely could. You could absolutely do that. The first Mortal Kombat movie was serious, but it was made at a time with a small budget. I mean, I don't know what the budget was, but it felt very small budget.
Gaming movies were not popular back then, so they didn't get a lot of money. I mean, look at Mario and all the other ones going on at the time.
But the actor who played Liu Kang in there was great. I mean,
yeah, he was. Actually, I would almost say he's better than the Liu Kang in this movie, truthfully.
Yeah. But you had a really interesting story that had like real life oh my God. The actor who played Shang Tsung was so good.
Yeah.
Oh, he's so good. But there was a lot of seriousness in that movie. Yeah, you had like, Goro who looked like garbage and Kano, who's like, hey, I'm going to eat another chicken like Goro, I'm just going to like get stuff all over myself.
Yeah.
And it just, he was like, kind of a parody, but no, it was interesting. I will watch this just for the sake of watching it, but I think that the first movie, the biggest thing that it suffers from...
It got a lot of crap, but I enjoyed it.
Well, the biggest thing that it suffers from was the time in which it was made. If you did that exact same movie with like modern filmmaking techniques or just a budget at the time, I think that would have been a really good movie.
Well, even some of the things they did on the budget they had, I mean, Sub-Zero's ice moves weren't all that terrible in that movie.
No, it didn't look cheesy. I thought it was cool. I think
even Centauro wasn't god awful in Annihilation. I mean, like,
well,
he wasn't great, but I mean,
they did.
It could have been a lot worse.
I think the only kind of cheesy thing was the fight with Scorpion, with like the lava blood and.
Yeah.
That was kind of like, that was the genre.
Right.
But again, that first movie was good and I like it. And you know what? I'm also going to say this here and then we're going to move on to Star Wars finally. The Street Fighter movie was also good. And I don't care. I don't care that Jean-Claude Van Damme didn't speak perfect English and he should have been because he was like Captain America.
Who cares?
It was a good movie. I enjoyed that movie, and I always did.
There was nothing about that wasn't entertaining.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
There's a lot of bad stories about that particular like Jean-Claude and his nose habit, and the actor who played M. Bison was literally dying. Like he died pretty soon after that movie. I think it was just cancer, but I think he played a really great Bison.
Oh, I did too.
He was nuts.
Yeah.
But yeah, very, very sad about that. Him passing pretty soon after that. A lot of people hate that movie, but I thought it was great. It was so.
I had no issues with that movie.
Oh goodness! One day we might have to start like a '90s movie podcast and just rate '90s
I could do
movies.
I could do that.
Oh, don't get me started.
Let's go even past that. Let's do like some Big China and Big Trouble in Little Chinatown or stuff. Big China.
Well, I mean, gosh, there were so many. There were so many good, like, cheesy, sort of semi-cheesy. I watched one. Twitch.
Mm-hmm.
Twitch has a feature where you can do watch parties.
Yeah.
And as long as you have Amazon Prime, you can watch along with the person. And this one stream that I was watching, they do periodically on like Friday nights, they watch cheesy movies on Amazon Prime. One of them was
the one we saw that really terrible subtitled movie?
Yes,
Was that? Yeah. That was entertaining. I love that.
The Kiss Demon.
Yeah.
I don't remember the director of those movies, but they were
something Bat, dude. Whatever.
Bat Without Wings was the name of the movie. Yeah, it was like a particular Chinese. I think it was Chinese. It was either Chinese or Japanese directors, sort of like I don't want to say kung fu movies, but like just movies that they made. And he made a series of them, but one of them was called Bat Without Wings, and the guys dubbed over it. And God, I laughed. So there was a part because the guy, he's like a demon, and he had like Kiss makeup on. So they start playing like Rock and Roll All Night. I even Dad, because we showed that to him, and he laughed at it. He enjoyed it, which is saying something. So anyway, but they did a couple of Chuck Norris movies. I wish I remember the name of the movie, but he was like, it was the stupidest. It was like but it actually wound up being kind of a good movie. It was like really early in the 80s or something, but I don't know. He was like living on the bayou and like, I don't know. He had an armadillo pet. And they blew up his house and killed like his little friend, and like I don't know. It was a weird movie because it was like these terrorists that were bringing in all these people from like I don't know, Cuba or South America, but they were like going in and like blowing up houses in like rural America, just like shooting rocket launchers at people's houses in their neighborhoods,
right? Which
is actually really scary. So yeah, it was violent. It was super violent. Oh my goodness. It was terribly violent. Anyway, I'm going to have to send you a video, about that particular subject. Hopefully I remember, but anyway, okay. Let's actually do some Star Wars. We'll talk about our plans for our next podcast later. Okay. So Bounty Hunters, right? We are currently up. We do have 11 issues out, which span 3 different stories, so to speak. We're going to go through 1 through 10. We'll obviously include the rest as we go along. And folks, obviously we're going to be switching things up a little bit as we go along because next week we have Bad Batch. And with Bad Batch
2
comes...
episodes to go over.
Yeah, one long one, 70 minutes, and then one regular one. So next week will be Bad Batch, and then we are going to basically be integrating Bad Batch week to week, and we'll probably be throwing some other things in there, comics maybe, little stuff, but maybe that's all we do a week. So we will get back to regularly scheduled programming. However, I believe it's 2 weeks from now. So after the first watch for Bad Batch, the second week, we are going to do Bad Batch, but we're also going to go over the new Thrawn book. That dropped this past week, the 26th, I think that dropped, if I remember correctly. So that's a big book. It's nice and long. So we'll be raring up for that.
Long review.
Yeah, well, maybe. It'll be a long episode because we have to do Bad Batch and Thrawn. We could split it up into 2 episodes, but then I have to actually do something and then like upload it into all the mediums because like Podbean doesn't do that all the time. So anyway, it'll just be a super long episode. So hopefully you guys enjoy that stuff as we go along. But again, let's jump into Bounty Hunters because we're so excited. It's over 30. This is going to be long strictly because we've been like avoiding talking about this.
This is kind of like Resistance for us, basically.
Well, yeah. I don't know. We had a lot to talk about Resistance. So, okay. let's kind of set the story. All right. There's a lot of time jumping in this particular series, and as far as the structure goes, issues 1 through 5 are a part of the Galaxy's Deadliest sort of tagline, and then issues 6 and 7 are a part of Target Valance, which, call back Target Vader. And then 8 through 11 are a part of the Terminus Gauntlet. Okay. So, yeah, sure. Whatever.
Right.
You seem really excited.
I am. I have nothing to argue.
Okay. So anyway, we get a... Well, okay, let me actually backtrack just a little bit, because Valance, when through Target Vader, the whole thing is that these bounty hunters are trying to kill Darth Vader. Didn't work out, obviously. I mean, not that I know of. But essentially, Valance goes back to his home planet, and he helps the people there, including his, former kind of like girlfriend. What was her name? We'll come across it. We'll come across it. But he has essentially moved on and left her because he's basically a machine man, and he kind of saw the way she looked at him, and he kind of resigned himself. So we see him on a job, and we meet this character, Nakano Lash, who seems to be sort of like his mentor, and this is the same species as Kit Fisto, the Natolans. Maybe? Nautilans? I don't know. Nautilus? Something C word. And
Close enough.
We basically get a job gone wrong. Okay?
Very wrong.
Yes. Lash kills... let's see here.
The Broken Clan? Is that the name of the clan?
I was trying to find the actual name of the person that it was. I believe that person's name was Camus, maybe. And yes, we get this sort of battle between these two syndicates, and I'm gonna plow through this, dude. I'm not gonna go comic by comic. I'm gonna plow through the story. So this is actually like a Romeo and Juliet subtext, because he gets, the daughter of the head of, was it the
Warring Syndicate?
Well, it was like that was the Unbroken clan.
Oh,
right?
was that the Unbroken? Okay, so what's his clan? I'm drawing a blank on it.
The Mariner's Whale Syndicate, I guess.
Okay.
So he is going in to kill her because he can't allow his clan to know that this was happened. However, the heir or the offspring of these two could effectively, in like a very medieval sense, lay claim to either clan. Again, Romeo, Juliet,
them.
Story as old as time, but the guy doesn't want to have anything to do with it.
Right.
All right. So Lash kills him. And we don't see until much later why. We just assume that who knows? Maybe she's crazy. And we have Boba Fett. We've got what was it, Bosk, and oh shoot. We'll have to go back for some of these other like minor characters that don't really matter all that much. I mean, no offense, but they just don't. We have the brother of one of the
Tenora. Is it Tenora?
Tongor.
Tongor.
I mean, it's like a T apostrophe Ongor. Yeah. And Tongor doesn't make it. Unfortunately, he is shot. And okay, let's
We
let's
might
not.
as well just jump ahead and say
It's
it.
names. I'm overthinking names, and to be honest, I really shouldn't. So the job is such. Let me just start from the beginning because that's I have to. Job gone bad. Upon the escape, the Unbroken Clan is also here. Our bounty hunters don't know anything about where they're at. They don't know who they're attacking. And this is a big deal. Warring syndicates, I mean, we get it. It's a trope. But Valance is loyal to Lash. Yes, mentor. We find out later that she kind of saved him, I guess, in a way. He went a little bit berserk on some members of the Empire. He's angry, he's drunk, he's half a robot, or probably more than a robot. And she gives him, I think you could say she gives him purpose and something to drive for, maybe. And so he's got loyalty. And Boba Fett is not the Boba Fett of The Mandalorian. He is still...
he's not a good guy.
No, he's not at all.
Which
Which
nice
again...
to see.
Yeah, but it's the reason why the pill was a little harder to swallow in Mando. We really enjoyed it, and we love the actor, but we also know that Boba Fett is like a bad guy.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not just unscrupulous. He's kind of just a bad guy.
Well, I feel like this is kind of a big thing for cinema right now, is picking someone that we grew up with who is evil and kind of turning them into an anti-hero, like someone you can relate to and care about. And
Well, and the other thing, too, is like, what really is Book of Boba going to be about? Because it could be bad. Like, he might not.
Because they're going through the timeline when he was this bad guy, so...
I don't know, man. But anyway, so Boba and Valance fight, and an errant shot from Boba basically kills our other secondary character here. No offense. When he was aiming for Lash. He's got a code. I'll give him this. He does have a code. You screw him over, he does tend to remedy the situation, because here's the rub. If Boba would have killed her then, it's very possible. Well, here's the thing, though. It's very possible that they might have been able to smooth this over a little bit better. Because the kid would have been dead. I mean,
Right.
let's not even trip. That kid would have been dead, man.
Yeah.
But the bounty hunters would have moved on. So it's not how I would have done it. I'm just saying that if he would have got the shot off, Lash faced, in quotations, justice, so to speak. You blame it all on her. She went crazy. The other dude's dead. He can't. Dead men tell no lies, or truth, or anything, because they're dead. But the kid would have obviously probably been killed. And the mother dies in childbirth. They are able to get her off the planet. And effectively, Lash raises this child. And I'll probably have to skim through a little bit here as we get a little further on, just so that I can remember all the names. There's so many names, dude. But essentially, the story here is that Lash is coming out of hiding. She's made contact. And this brings all the bounty hunters back. The bounty hunters that they think screwed them. She screwed us. We've got to get her. Or just people trying to make money. In our first issue, we do see Afra.
Yeah.
Like for a minute.
Get Afra and BK for no reason whatsoever.
Yeah, that was a little...
It was
that
literally
a little odd.
just to highlight how much Bosk hates Wookiees, essentially.
Yeah, and I mean, Trandoshans and Wookiees, obviously, they're not going to get along either way, but I just thought it was kind of weird. But effectively, in the second issue, that's when we get sort of more... There's a lot of backstory in the beginning of all these issues, which is very similar to Target Vader. And, I don't want to say unfortunately, but there are parts of this that start to overwrite what was already in Target Vader, which I don't like. And I think I've been very clear about that. I think it's bad storytelling when you overwrite things, but it is what it is. Maybe people don't know. In issue 2, I'm actually trying to get some more of the names of some of our people here because I want to be fair. So we have the sister of character who gets killed in the first book, but we don't really necessarily have much to say about it. Tonga is her name, and she's been living off-world with her wife, basically gardening.
Crop farming. Yeah.
Farming, yeah. Which, I mean, is the wife also like a bounty hunter?
Kind of get that vibe near the end.
Kind of do, yeah.
I feel like she probably is.
And I think one of the gripes that I saw very early on is like, well, they seem to kill every female character that they establish. So Tonga is shot, which I thought was. I will say this comic is very abrupt.
Yeah.
You get the feeling like Game of Thrones, any of these people could be knocked off at any second aside from Balance and Boba Fett. But her just being shot there seemed really abrupt, and I was like,
I wasn't
why?
a big fan of it, really.
No, it's stupid. It doesn't make any sense to the story. I mean, knock her
basically
out,
what they're
okay,
saying
but
is we set up this character, we give her a reason to do what she's doing, and the second we take that reason away and give her a crisis of faith, we kill her off.
well, but they didn't kill her because later
True,
on we
true.
figure out that she did survive.
Yep.
And her wife seem to be going off on their own little secret mission. So we should see more of her.
Correct.
And
I did like her character from the very brief amount of time
Yeah.
we got with her, so I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I thought it was. I thought she was interesting. Again, you know how I am. I like teams. I like setting up
Especially
like
reluctant ones.
well, sometimes I just want people to like have a crew. I just want them to have a crew. And I'll also say something about this comic is very violent too. Like the action panels, like you start to think it's like, how do people survive any of this?
He's shot multiple people in the gut with his little hand cannon. They're still alive, and I'm calling BS on that.
Yeah. Well, in issue 3, we do get a battle with Bosk as Valance finds, a way to find his former mentor. Here she is. Vega. Oh, here we go. Urella Vega, that's her name. Yeah, that's his girlfriend
Nice.
who totally has a husband now.
Yeah.
Oh man, I was like, I knew I would eventually flip to that page. So, but we eventually see her as well. But anyway, so yeah, there's this whole back and forth with Bosk, and you sort of have some time skippity doodah here. And then we start to see members of the Unbroken clan as well in issue 3, as they are also hot on the trail. They have stupid masks.
They do.
I mean,
Especially the little leader.
well, it's like it was a character from Skyrim, the Thieves Guild line. You remember the Guy Fawkes kind of guy who had the stupid like mask thing?
Yeah.
It reminded me of that. It's just purple. So anyway, we do get our reunion here, and we get the full story, like we told Romeo and Juliet. However, Lash is sick. They don't really explain that, by the way. She's just sick. She's got some disease that's going to kill her. And we meet our child here, and let me see if we get that particular name. I mean, we will, but I gotta figure it out. You don't remember the name to this person, do you?
Honestly, this is probably one of my worst for remembering names. They were all super unmemorable names for me.
Well, yeah, I just don't remember the darn thing even coming up. I'll eventually get to it, but we get Boba Fett, again catching up to him. all this good jazz. I don't know. It's just not crazy interesting. I really want to find this stupid name because it's really bothering me. I don't know. Eventually I'll find it. But whatever. So yeah, issue 4 is just, it seems like a lot of backtracking, and then we have effectively our other character, which I'm still Tonga, kind of getting shot in the same way as her brother, and that's sort of like where issue 4 is. But again, this is Boba Fett. That was Boba Fett shot them both.
Right.
Good times. But again, and that knocks her out. It's just really whatever. So issue 5 we do, and I said I wasn't even going to go issue by issue, but in order for me to remember names, I have to. Apparently, we get more of Lash's backstory of like possibly her pregnant mother being killed, and we see the conflict on Glee Som. There we go, Valacords, baby.
Right.
Here's a callback. But where Lash is out there with her pregnant mother, and pregnant mother's probably dead. There's a whole conflict that I'm not really I don't know enough about really to talk about it. But Lash is able to survive here, and right back in the fire. And again, we have this whole knockdown slobber knocker with Boba Fett. Did you like his little foot spikes?
No, I didn't.
Come on, man. You don't like his foot spikes?
He's a robot. How is that going to help against a robot?
Well, I mean, if it's electrical. I think it was electrical,
circuitry.
Right? Yeah, so it was made specifically for him.
No. His little grappling hook was electrified.
Oh, okay. Well, whatever, dude. He had a plan. Okay.
He always has a plan. That's what the Book of Boba is about, all of his plans.
It's just strange because the fighting just seems so back and forth, and I mean, who wins, who loses, who I shouldn't be critical because it's comics, I get it. But it just seems so odd. And then we get Lash fighting Boba, and we get Boba flamethrowing Valance.
But not really affecting him with it all that much.
Just taking his darn skin. And, I will say the only saving grace for this particular issue was sort of Valance and Lash's sort of like final goodbye here as they're separated.
Yeah.
That was kind of a cool... I thought that was kind of neat, and that unfortunately
I enjoyed
is... that. Right. And that is the end of Lash. And then we realize that our prophesied child here is not a baby and totally knows everything to do, like fly ships and do all this stuff, and like Valance is now our protector, so that's pretty sweet.
Isn't this around the time we lose the droid too?
Yeah,
which I was totally okay with.
The droid's been lost. That darn thing's been dead for a while. So issue 6, again, this is where we start to overwrite a lot of Valance's story that we already had in Target Vader. I guess, there's her name. Cadelia.
The
child.
The
Cadelia.
syndicate child.
Yep, that's her name. Thank you. I found it. Good job, comic, for telling me what I needed to know. So, but again, like, I guess if you didn't read Target Vader, maybe they just expected you didn't read Target Vader. Mm-hmm. But like literally from this point on, aside from a couple of variables, it's the same darn story. It seemed lazy to me. I hate overwrites because it's not retconning, it's not nerfing, it's not doing anything. It's just overwriting what you already know. It's like a VHS tape.
It's filler.
I recorded Star Wars off of TNT, but I'm gonna have to record it again because I forgot it was even on here. It's the same thing. Right. It's weird. We also introduce a couple more bounty hunters, which were a part of lore. So we have Forlom, the kind of bug protocol droid, and then Zuckuss, Old Zuckuss.
I wasn't a big fan of Zuckuss in the old protocol droid, honestly.
Well, I mean, it's fine. It's a callback to bounty hunters that were literally in the movies. I mean, they
I get
were.
it.
We saw them in movie form in the old series, part of canon, all that good stuff. But yeah, I mean, whatever. It's fine. I mean, it's an interesting callback. It gives some nerds some stuff to think about. But from here on, it's kind of just Valance and I read a name and then I forget the name. Cadelia. I have to put a pin in that. Kind of being attacked, just continually being attacked until we go back to Valance's planet where the kind of small rebel. From Target Vader, there's a small rebel outpost out there, and we meet his not
girlfriend.
Yeah, not anymore. But he's pretty badly damaged, and there you go. Cadelia, that's another one. We don't really have her for very long either.
No, not really.
So, and again, I think that this is part of the complaint. You have these characters, and they obviously know some stuff, but then they're just not around for very long.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure she'll come back. But anyway, Forlom and Zuckuss take some battle droids, and they're going to assault this planet and, get their bounty. Sorry, I keep hitting the mic with the comic. That's my bad. But, I mean, just to kind of bust through this, because it's more fighting. Valance getting beaten up, but then, using his little hand blaster. Oh, man. It's just... I guess I shouldn't have glossed over the husband's name, if I can find that real quick, because he comes up later too. Condra, that's his name. I should probably write these things down so I don't keep forgetting them. He'll come up later, but yeah, Condra, Yura's husband, Condra, and it seems like they're trying to make a life and everything, which obviously you can't rely on robot guy coming back with his fake skin.
Even with his ruby.
And the interesting thing, too, is that it's obvious that Condra knows a lot about Valance, and so do the people around there. They know what he did for them because he basically saved them. If you didn't read Target Vader, I'm sorry. I think I talked about those independently in my half-hour shows that I used to do. Mm-hmm. But he led the Empire astray so that they could survive, which was, really good. But they want to help him, which I find interesting. And then we just leave. We just leave our kid there
for no reason.
Yeah, it's too dangerous, kid. You're just going to have to
leaving them with a rebellion.
I don't know. And again, I'm a crew builder. I think you could have had a fun little sort of like father-daughter type relationship. He learns about his humanity through, taking care of the kid who's really cool and like an assassin or something. Why couldn't you do that?
The only excuse we really had was that he was trying to track Zuckuss and get him to go after him alone and protect the girl. But it's like, listen, you're not coming back for her. We know you're not.
We are making these bounty hunters way too OP.
Yeah.
Zuckuss, this droid, I don't care if the droid can self-repair.
Here's and this is why I said I had an issue with them. Zuckuss is made out to be this amazing bounty hunter that can literally not be ambushed, senses everything like he's a force god.
Yeah.
And then he gets beat by a little girl.
Well, it's just, yeah, I mean, I don't want to like over realism everything, but it does. It kind of bothers me a little bit. It feels like too much nostalgia. Like, okay, Dengar. I think Dengar is a stupid character, but progressively, and Target Vader was the same, and we'll see Dengar later here. We always bring back Dengar. Dude, somebody shoot Dengar, okay? He's a weasel.
Right.
And like, again, Forlom, Zuckuss, and the thing is like, they're good bounty hunters because they survive. I get that. You know, they're good at survival. They're good at doing their job. I'm fine with that. But why?
They're giving them weird personalities, and they're making them kind of annoying, though, honestly.
Yeah, but the fact that we have this, in quotations, like anti-hero and Valance, who just, he gets killed every single fight by everyone. He is so underpowered here. He literally is just garbage. He is like, who was, because we were talking about Mortal Kombat, who was, it wasn't Kung Lao with the hat.
Yeah.
Kung Lao could have been a really cool character. And
He was set up to be.
I remember the introduction in the games, and the hat move was pretty OP, and then he just became garbage.
Yeah, because you couldn't really do the hat move.
I don't know if he is anymore. I know he's still in the universe, but like it's just like he was just the lighter version of the heroes of the story. It's like they just wanted to bring in another character, but he wasn't really all that good. And the same could be said about Reptile. He was the ninja. He was the green ninja, but he wasn't really as cool or as well. He was cool to me. And I'll also say this: I like the human Reptile who then becomes the Reptile.
Yeah.
I don't like the solid Reptile. That's just dumb.
Okay, let's use Smoke as an example then.
Yeah, Smoke was the robots.
Smoke wasn't as good.
Well, none of the robots were very good. They all kind of sucked. I don't know.
Well, no, I'm talking the palette swap ninja Smoke from like 2 or 3.
Yeah. I mean, there were several.
Before he was a robot.
Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah, like his only move was he could just teleport to the other side of the screen. That was it.
Yeah, I get that.
Oh,
I main that. That's my main. I don't think we have any. I don't think we have any serious video gamers listening to this podcast.
No. But Valance is super underpowered, and everything about, like, even down to like how many issues of the comic did his hand cannons not work? Like, I'm sorry, it's just.
But see, that's the thing.
Everything about it is just so frustrating.
He's constantly running broken. Like, even when he's fixed, he instantly breaks down. It's like, dude, you need to get yourself a better repair guy because these guys are charging you for nothing. You suck.
There's literally even a part in the comic where he gets charged for repairs and then the guy dies, but he already paid, and then he gets damaged right away. But, like, you would think a cybernetic humanoid in the Star Wars galaxy would be pretty OP, especially when he has the skills of a bounty hunter. But no.
Well, think about
put cybernetics on Boba Fett. Imagine fighting Boba Fett then. Why can't Valance do that?
Well, think about just the basic physics of this. So you're a metal guy, and Bosk punches you.
And it hurts you. It knocks you out.
Yeah, I don't care if he's Trandoshan or not. I mean, you're punching metal.
Yeah.
Listen, R2-D2 is more resilient than Valance, and R2-D2 is just like a trash can. I love R2, but he's a can. And he's been far more resilient.
He's got sturdier plates of metal, that's for sure.
Now, granted, Valance has also been shot a lot, but still, it's like, I don't know. He was built like crap, and he has crap parts, and he's just crap.
And I hate, Bosk even kind of points it out, I hate that they add the nerve receptors in the metal parts of his body, because I feel like that's such a story trope. Like, oh, we need him to be injured and not 100% right now and in pain. Sir, he's a robot. Well, just give him pain receptors. You know, it's fine. Why would you want that? Why would you ever add that feature? Like, I'm sorry, I'd be taking that out as a bounty hunter. Like, first day.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
It's just frustrating.
Yeah. And again, it's not like I dislike Valance. I just like the way I don't particularly care for the way they're building him.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, just my rational brain always kicks in here and he says, well, dude, eventually like this dude's just gonna like fall apart because he's all machine now, isn't he?
As far as we know, I mean,
maybe
maybe he's like a reverse Fennec Shan. He's got like a little tiny bit of human gut left, and everything else is robot. I don't know.
Well, I mean, maybe his midsection isn't robot.
Might just be limbs and head. I don't know.
Dude, the head thing's trippy though.
It's just weird.
At what
point are you no longer a person?
I wish I could remember the exact story, but it was some historical boat.
Every single piece of it had been replaced at one point, right?
I'm pretty sure that I've told this story before, and hopefully when I did, I actually remembered the entire story. But yeah, if you continue,
there's nothing left.
Yeah, so it's still the same shape. It's got the same name, but if you remove every piece of a ship and keep it the same, is it still the same ship? Because the whole point of that story was that it was like historical and I'm sorry, I'm sure somebody might also know what I'm talking about. I just can't remember. But over time, they just rebuilt it. They replaced rotting planks. It was a wood ship, yada, yada, yada. So after everything had been replaced, so is it still even the same ship? The same thing could be said about a human if you're constantly in this universe. If you have just rebuilt him and taken away all the parts, are they still human? Which is kind of the Grievous conundrum.
Yeah.
And Grievous, he's got like kind of like a skull and a heart, right?
Yeah. I guess those are technically, he's got his brain and heart. Those are the important parts, sure, but
But you would assume that in Valance's like cranium, he's got a brain. He's got the brain, right? They didn't just like transfer the thoughts to like a computer.
I mean, like, why would you do that for a basic grunt?
Well, I'm just saying.
In the Empire.
I'm just saying it's like maybe they encapsulated his skull in metal.
Yeah.
Right, so there's still a skull in there. Maybe is that maybe realistic?
Either that or his skull was fractured so much that they had to encapsulate his brain in a metal skull. Completely do away with everything else.
Yeah, so the question is there, this is really off the beaten track, but does he still have a brain? Does he still have a skull? And is it just like a helmet?
Right.
Like a really like advanced helmet. And also, let me ask you this. Wouldn't you think somebody would have invested in like some technology for like spray on skin?
Yeah, because it sounds like it's pretty difficult for him to get his skin replaced, but it's constantly getting ripped off. Yeah. Like it's almost like a scare factor thing. Like, oh, rip his freaking face off. Everybody rip his face off.
Yeah, it's just like spray on hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could have a little jingle for it. If your skin is gone, spray it on. Do 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 do. Skin.
Now stay away from fires. Seriously, you got a problem,
dude. I'm just thinking about it. Maybe the tech needs to like some evil mogul from the time just needs to like, yeah, I love that spray on skin. I've got cans of it in the back. Okay.
Another thing that kind of bothered me, the fact that he gives up so easily when he's cornered by Zuckuss and the robot. Like you could just go back to other bounty hunters. Boba Fett wouldn't have given up right then and there. He wouldn't have paid to get a 3-day head start.
Yeah, I could see that. Well, I don't know. Let's kind of move on here. So Valance is again on the run. He goes to the dude who gives him the jobs, which was, kind of dumb. And we have a new character for all of a couple of panels here, Tassu Leech, which coincidentally, that name sounds super familiar, and I feel like I should know it, so I'm going to look it up. He kind of winds up being nobody, though. Oh, that's who it is. He was in the the new movies. He was on Solo's ship. He was one of the guys that I think got eaten by those monsters. Yeah, Tasu Leech. That's okay. That's why I remember. So he was in Force Awakens.
Yeah, little Lobot clone.
No. Tasu Leech is not the Lobot guy. It's the assassin.
Oh, the young one. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was. You remember Conja Club.
Oh yeah.
He was a leader of old Conja Club. The club.
Yeah.
The K. Yeah, he looks. I don't know. They if you look at the drawing, it's like way different from the actor.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because the actor in the movie was either of some like Asian or like Filipino sort of origin.
Yeah.
And this
Rocking the
person,
mustache and everything. Yeah.
Yeah. And the illustration here is like way different. So they gave like absolutely zero S words about the movie version of Tasu Leech. But did say he was like the deadliest pit fighter, and again we have another knockdown, drag out. Oh, we get to see
not a very good shot.
No, we get to see the band though, the old jizz band.
What was it they say? It's like
I'm here.
You need to stop booking us gigs like this. I bet the other guys wouldn't have this issue.
Well, I'm gonna have to bleep this out. He does cuss. He says Figrin. No, I don't know. That could be a name. Yeah, I think it's a name. Figrin, you've got to start booking us better gigs. I bet this never happens to Fightia and the Slemos. Well, when you play one song over and over again, you can only get booked sometimes.
Shootouts.
It's trippy how they've just completely redone the look of this character from the character that we saw in the movie. Like I said, that name, it just hit
I never
me.
even really thought about him, truthfully.
Well, I mean, who would? He got eaten by those monsters, I think. I think he's dead.
Probably.
I don't think he made it off that ship. But Valance does, he takes care of him, and then we wind up on a rebel ship fighting some pirates.
Mm-hmm. Because why not?
Why not, dude? Indeed. And we also pick up with Dengar. So he's sort of imprisoned by the pirates a little bit. I don't know, man. I don't know. This was... Oh, we glossed over it. Sorry, guys. Valance knows Solo.
Mm-hmm.
When he was
Actually
shot
flew
down...
together quite a bit.
Yeah, when he was shot down, he was flying with Solo, and Solo wound up coming back for him and rescuing him. And
get a little glimpse into just how harsh the Empire was.
Yeah, but I know you haven't seen it. I've already seen it.
Yeah.
Target Vader, bro.
Yeah.
It already happened for me. But no, you're right. I mean, he lost a leg at this point. And, I mean, that's the Empire, though. He failed in their eyes, crashing a ship. He failed. They're not going to give him a leg and just put him back in another ship.
They won't even... There's even a point where they mention earlier when they're kind of talking about him getting his other injuries that turned him into the cyborg.
Yeah.
They're like, well, was it a victory? No, they had to retreat. Well, he isn't really a war hero, so don't waste any good cybernetics on him. Yeah,
exactly. So anyway, I thought it was kind of interesting that they chose to incorporate Han Solo here, which coincidentally we do have a very poignant frame of reference here as to the time, because Boba Fett is actually carrying Han Solo right now in Carbonite. So this is like right before Return of the Jedi. Mm-hmm. So right before he gets back to the Hutts. I don't know how I feel about the Solo thing. I don't know how I feel about that. How do you feel about the Solo thing?
I feel like you shouldn't tie in every single. It's one of those things we've talked about a lot. Like when you go to the same planets over and over again, it starts to make everything seem small in the universe. And just the fact that, every important character in Star Wars has ran into each other at some point.
Yeah.
With how big the Navy was it really that viable that they had ran into each other at some point? I mean,
it's possible, but it's also improbable.
yeah. I get what they're doing with it. It's fan service, it's pandering to the audience. Yes, I get that. But does it really serve any story-based purpose for them to have met? Because you don't see them in the present day. So what good is it?
No doubt.
And he doesn't really learn anything from Solo in his younger years.
Well, yeah, he kind of yells at him, and then Solo just like leaves. He's like, I don't have any time for you, stupid person. Anyway.
He literally just acknowledges, I'm bad at saying thank you, but, he's gone.
Yeah, he's gone. He doesn't care. Doesn't care about you at all.
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay, hey, you know what? I figured out Tonga's wife's name because it says it in this issue.
That's amazing.
Lasha Tarkon. Not Tarkin, don't be mistaken.
There's a connection.
Well, we all know Omega is going to be Tarkin's kid, but whatever. So, yeah, we get that Tonga's still alive, which is good.
Yeah,
she's got like a weird vacuum tube on her.
Right.
I did the best I could. Are you a doctor? Well, kind of. What is that? Is that like your vacuum cleaner? Well, maybe.
I'm just a farmer.
Yeah. I raise beasts. They seem to like you, though.
If they hadn't, they would have ate you. You're a terrible doctor. Well,
Yeah, it's interesting. But hey, I guess she's okay. Mm-hmm. That's good. Solid.
Yeah.
But again, are they going to bring him back?
Right. Or is it going to be one of those Mando things like, well, maybe we'll get this character back, maybe not. I guess we'll see in a year.
It's just that's frustrating to me. So, anyway, we also meet Blanche. Blanche Sproul.
Yeah, old Blanche. Stop that cooking. Just stop it.
Blanche lets Valance out after talking to him for like 2 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
She's good. Private Blanche reporting for duty. Here's another thing. I don't really know that Valance is a good pilot. He was shot down. But he does get to ride in an X-Wing, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Do we think he's a good pilot?
I don't think he's a good pilot.
I don't think it's weird. I don't get the feeling that like Valance is a good pilot.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
It was never his aspiration. He wanted to be a commander. I mean,
I don't know why, but I get the feeling that he might not be the best pilot in the world.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Which is kind of funny in the Star Wars universe. You kind of automatically assume everyone's amazing at it.
Well, God, at some point, he needs to be amazing at something.
Yeah.
Like, to this point, he's just amazing at, like, not having a crew.
Yeah. This thing, like, with his leg injury, he could have still been a pilot for a TIE fighter.
True.
So it's like, all right, if they're going to kick you out, you probably suck.
Well, right, yeah. I mean, if you were, like, an ace pilot...
Yeah.
If
it was Solo, if this happened to Solo, I mean, like.
Well, Solo was a little bit too independent. I was thinking more about maybe like, who was our major from
Soren Keys.
Soren Keys. Yeah, like if Soren lost, and that was from Alphabet Squadron, by the way. I didn't finish my sentence. But if Soren Keys got his leg blown off, I feel like he would have gotten
Wouldn't
a leg,
change
and they would have been
anything.
like, "Hey, dude, here's best cybernetics. Go ahead, go on back,
get in.
bro. Get back in that thing and go. You got to
You're not getting out of this.
Yeah, you gotta command the squadron." But yeah, so Valance is just I think he's got that weird average men's story because he was like a miner on his planet, and he
Yeah.
wanted to do good, but he really wasn't like spectacular at any one thing. It seems like. So maybe I guess that's the point. He's just not a particularly spectacular anything, but he's still out there living for some reason.
Literally, all he is just a tank. He can take a lot of abuse.
He's a tank, but he
someone
doesn't
will
have
heal
his
him.
four strength, 4-stem leather belt.
It ain't got no healer around him.
No. Yeah, he
The
doesn't have
healer
his,
is taking a nap.
he doesn't have his gear, man. He didn't gear up before he went. He didn't put his healing potions in the proper slot. Dude, he's got a level 1 sword. They're all looking at him like, "This is who you want to tank for us? Don't worry about it. We're way stronger. Just pull aggro."
And again, this
For
is
the
why
gamers.
This is why he needs a crew, because he's just a tank.
Yeah. But I do. I think that he feels like just like a normal person who just so happens to survive by whatever means.
By the means
know,
of
man.
being a robot.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, another little piece of our pie here. The commander of this ship is a bad dude. He's in league with the pirates. And Valance basically goes on a Mando level kill mission. If you remember from the prison, first season in the prison, he kind of has that, which again, he just whatever. I'm done. I don't want to.
Are you sure you're done? Are you sure?
No, not really. I don't really want to continue to talk about him, but yeah, he's doing spacewalks, so he doesn't need air.
Maybe he lost his lungs. I don't know.
Well, yeah. I mean, he's like just literally like walking on the he's climbing a ladder on the outside of a ship. I don't understand. Like,
He's got artificial robotic lungs that pull in just enough air and filter and recirculate and keep it in there, so he doesn't need to breathe for like 20 minutes.
I mean, seriously, what about this guy is still like human?
I don't know. The android guy points out that he still makes all the stupid mistakes of a human, so there's that at least.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Just seems a little bit weird. But yeah, he goes on his kill mission. Oh, we get a classic line here. Oh, poodoo. There we go. Perfect callback, I guess. So I don't know. We do get a couple more panels with Tonga as well, and from this it does kind of feel like we're going to see more of both of them. You know, the wife and wife combo here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. I'm down for it. I don't know how they fit in this story, though.
I think they might be more interesting than Valance, honestly.
I mean, possibly, but it seems like we're going to tell me if this is something that you would even read. You know, there are stories out there that change perspective. Like you start with somebody, but you don't always end with them.
Oh, yeah.
So it's called Bounty Hunters. It's not called Valance's Adventures.
Mm-hmm.
So,
But who would you want? I mean, other than her, who would you want Skip to?
well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I'm just trying to flesh out the idea, but like, if
'Cause
you
I don't
had
want-
characters,
I don't
the
want to
kid,
switch it. Yeah, the kid. I feel like the kid needs to get a pretty large chunk because the kid's the most compelling thing going on. Although I still think the ideologic, she can unite the clans and stop this bloody war. Well, okay, listen. Let's kind of break that down just quickly because, one, She has no real ties to either side. She doesn't know anybody. No one's going to respect her. 2, she's not part of those families, so she hasn't been taught how to be, a cutthroat, devious, a business person. She doesn't have any of the credentials to be a leader. And I feel like the clans aren't going to care that she's an heir. They're going to care about the other side of her bloodline. It's just how it's going to be.
Yeah, I would be interested if they actually go that route personally, but I mean, my whole point is that, you have all these bounty hunters, we're constantly seeing them. And because Valance is just he's kind of blah. Mm-hmm. And I don't really see how other people fit in here aside from just fighting him.
Yeah.
And that's going to get really boring.
All that's doing is showing off how cool the other bounty hunters are and how uncool he is.
Right. Well, in this 10th issue, we do get a lot of shots of his skin flapping off of his face, his robot face.
Well, that's good.
I'm dead. I don't think he has a skull under there, dude. I mean, I'm just saying, well, he has robot eyes, too. To be honest with you, would it shock you if he just wound up being a robot and they implanted his memories in there? But who would have done that?
Yeah, who would take the time and money into that? That's what I want to know. Because he's not important enough.
Well, he's not good enough either.
No.
I don't know, man. Maybe we should look into that at some point. Oh, Private Blanche is off killing people. She's doing a good job. Mm-hmm. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to the Blanches of the world, but whatever, dude. Oh man, and they also like. Okay, I'm gonna hold dialogue discussion for a little later, but they do have some dialogue with some of these pirates that were just sitting around, and it makes you it's supposed to make you want to hate them. Like, so Valance comes up and he's like Terminator and kills everybody, right? I'm gonna discuss that a little bit later, but Dengar also does seem to help, but then they fight, and I don't know, he takes them hostage or something. I don't know what's going on, dude. I don't know what's up. And at least by the cover, it looks like we're definitely getting another Bosk issue.
Right.
In the next issue, so. All right. I have a couple of parting thoughts here. Dialogue. I thought the dialogue in this was really garbage.
It was super generic.
Yeah, it was like a lot of those, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to rip your tongue out of your throat and put it up your butt, and all this stuff. It's like, even with that last panel where they're like, it's like, I don't know, just think of any like 90s cartoon bad guy where like, hey, yeah, boss, we're going to go ahead and kill them all. We're like, well, we're bad guys. We really hate all these people. We don't really know why, but we're bad. We're going to kill them. Mm-hmm. And it was just, it felt like really cheesy. And God, it's just I don't know, man. I have a pretty good reading comprehension, but this series seems really hard to follow for me.
Yeah.
I think that there's an interesting premise, but you ran completely through the whole child aspect of this. Your mentor killed a syndicate leader's son because... because why? Because he was trying to kill a pregnant lady. Oh, the pregnant lady's dead, but gave birth to a child, and the child's like a special? We don't know because she's just gone with robot guy's former girlfriend that doesn't want to be a girlfriend to a robot guy and has another boyfriend, and they're in the rebellion, and like Valance is just like cursing Solo through half the issues because he's like, oh, why did you take causes, and stupid Solo is like, oh, so we're trying to tie in Han Solo for some reason. I wonder why, because the War of the Bounty Hunters is coming up and everybody's going to start grappling over the Han Solo thing. I should have told us that. you know? So I don't know, man. I feel like all this is building to this whole, like, is that what it was called? The War of the Bounty Hunters that's coming up, that's going to be across.
Something like that, yeah.
I'm gonna try.
He's going to be completely useless in that.
We talked about that on our last show. Yeah, War of the Bounty Hunters. So it will encompass Aphra, the Darth Vader comic, the main Star Wars line, and Bounty Hunters. So they're going to try and tie this story throughout the 4 comics that are running today. And whereas like Vader had a story, Aphra had, to be honest, I'm actually looking forward to talking about Aphra 9. The main Star Wars line has been pretty amazing. And coincidentally, dude, if you haven't been spoiled about the newest issue of Vader, like we're going to have a conversation about that.
I haven't heard anything about it.
Oh, dude. We're going to have a conversation about that particular comic book, and we'll talk about it offline. But anyway, that's going to be a conversation. So, but then Bounty Hunters is just like, oh, yeah, this War of the Bounty Hunters thing? Well, this is called Bounty Hunters, so let's just get it there, Is that your feeling, or am I just being harsh?
No, I mean, it doesn't really have its own important story to follow like the rest of the series. I feel like you're pretty on point with that.
Yeah,
they don't make you care about anything going on. Like, this Syndicate girl could be so interesting, and they just leave her feeling so bland to me. Like, I don't care. The whole premise of her reuniting the clans and keeping her safe just because my mentor did and all this, it's so exhausting.
Yeah, well, it feels like that's not the way they want to go now.
Yeah.
They just dropped her off.
They keep saying it, but it's not really what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I feel like you could do interesting stuff with her, with that story, eventually. Because effectively, there's still a bounty on Valance. Dead or alive, by the way. But is it also on the kid? Maybe, probably. So we have to go back to that kid. Because how does he knock the bounty off of him?
Right.
I don't know, dude. I'm trying to remain positive about it, but as far as series, this has been the weakest one of the new.
It has.
And we series.
Really, I feel like we kind of knew this going in. We weren't really looking forward to this series as much.
Well, I mean, I started off being interested because I thought Target Vader was interesting. I actually thought it was pretty good, and I kind of want you to read that to just sort of see if you felt the same way, and maybe I'm misremembering. I don't know. But, yeah, just, I don't know. It's fallen kind of flat. The dialogue's been pretty terrible. The dialogue kills me, dude. It's a major sticking point.
It's super generic.
Yeah.
It doesn't even feel like Star Wars. It just feels like your generic third-tier Marvel characters dialogue.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't think you have to have a super OP main character.
But when he's a competent one, though.
Well,
you have to be able to beat somebody.
Yeah, but let's talk about archetypes. So if you're not the strongest or the most well-trained, you're usually the smartest, right? So if you can't win by sheer brute strength, then you can outthink people, or you have, or if you're not the smartest, you just know how to plan. You plan for things. You're clever, essentially. Valance's defining characteristic is essentially that he tries to do the right thing.
Right.
And maybe, again, I keep going back to it, and it's kind of a hard point to draw, but maybe that's the point. Again, average dude who was kind of mediocre at a lot of things he did, fought for a cause he thought was just but wasn't, tries to do, did some good stuff in Target Vader, and now he's trying to, I don't know, maybe try and do some good here, but he's just not really he's not the top of his game. He just can't be. I don't know, man. All
I
right.
don't know. You give him the brute force archetype, and you give him none of the powers of a brute, and it just
True.
comes off odd, like lazy in a way.
Yeah, I agree. So I don't know if you want to really give a rating to this so far because it's kind of hard to rate a series until it's done. But I think one thing I did enjoy from our last discussion with Afra was covers.
Yeah.
Because we really haven't done that all that much, and I think that's something that's very important to the comic book industry. It's kind of like when we would go to the video store and look at covers of videos and pick videos based upon or DVDs or VHSs. You know, I'm kind of old. I'm not that old, but I mean, I am that old to know what a VHS is and have had VHSs. But yeah, just you look at that, and I think that's a big part of comics too, is having the visual aspect of that cover to maybe grasp your imagination a bit. So, out of all the covers, what do you think was your? Did you have a favorite?
See, and we kind of talked about this beforehand. Covers are very important to me, but there aren't a lot of covers in this series that really stand out, and they all just kind of blend in, I feel like, for the most part.
Okay.
But I would probably have to say, even though it really doesn't work with the story all that much, my favorite cover would have to be from issue 2.
Okay. Yeah,
we got Valance, we got Bosk, and we got Boba, just going crazy.
Yeah,
you got explosions in the background.
Side.
They're fighting with each other for some reason, which is odd. Like, it's almost a throwback to that mission.
Yep.
In a way,
I agree.
Escape afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah, I get your assessment there because they do. They look like they're fighting against a force, like they've united, but then they're not. Right. They're not at all. Well, even the first cover too, you have Valance, walking through fire, and you've got Bosk and Boba Fett behind him, which I mean, kind of you could kind of tie into the mission that went wrong. They did sort of work together there, but yeah, it's just not the same. I would say for me, I think that issue 4 has an interesting cover. It's very Terminator-esque.
I thought about 4 as well. It is kind of cool.
But I think if it's not 4, it would be 9, where Valance is sort of like on the X-wing kind of thing. It's a different art style. Very different art style. A little bit more animated, a little bit less like gritty, post-apocalyptic
it's
future.
Subdued, yeah.
But I kind of like that one. It's not bad. But I will say that it doesn't feel like a cover to me. It feels like a really good double panel, but it doesn't really feel like a cover for some reason. Mm-hmm. I would say probably the worst one is 8.
Let me look at 8.
It's got the band and he's being shot at.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, even the animation style for his face is really bad in that one.
Yeah, it seems really underdone. Here's a gripe. This is really stupid, but it's a gripe. So issue 10. So it's like a match off with Dengar. Mm-hmm. But if you look at that, his positioning, Dengar could use his weapon to just slice him in half. He's got in his guard.
Very true.
I mean, he is literally, because they're so interested in showing off the Iron Man hand cannon.
Right.
It's the stupidest thing because it's one of those things where he basically is dead.
Yeah.
In that picture. So, I mean, you're being too realistic. It's a cover. Well, it's a stupid cover.
Yeah.
It's a poorly designed cover. It doesn't look bad, but it's just one of those things. He's got an energy weapon. I mean, we're assuming it's an energy weapon and not like a flare, but he's in Valance's guard. He's turned the hand away so he can't like hit him with the special beam cannon. He just slices his belly, you know, he's dead.
Mm-hmm.
Or he's maybe, I don't know, he's a robot, so who knows? He might not be dead. That might be his superpower. He might be unkillable. You know?
Immortality.
Yeah,
Yes.
Anyway, do you want to do a rating or are we good?
No, I don't.
Okay, that's fine.
We don't do ratings until it's done.
Did we do a rating, though, for any of the other ones?
I think we might have for the mainline Star Wars series.
Okay.
I think
mean,
well, actually, I think what we did was we ranked the
I think we did our favorite
sequences.
comic, right?
Is either favorite comic or we ranked the sequences, like which story
could
arc
be.
was our favorite.
Yeah, we don't go back and listen to our episodes.
No, we don't proofread ourselves at all.
Only a little bit. Okay, yeah, I don't know. I don't really have a favorite comic to talk about, so
Yeah,
I don't
don't
know
either.
that I can really talk about that at all. So
And I don't want to be any more negative than we already have and bash
Yeah,
it. So
yeah, it sucks, but like, you know, we have 3 good lines, and who knows, maybe with the War of the Bounty Hunters it'll pick up, because obviously that seems to be the bigger thing.
right.
And who knows, man, maybe Valance will like take Solo and like, I don't know, have a moment.
Meh. Why?
Let's just nerf the whole darn thing, man.
No.
The originals didn't even happen.
Right.
They're all being replaced with Ewoks.
Why not?
Oh, goodness. All right. I think that's about it, folks. We've gone on long enough here. I think we've had enough conversations surrounding the comic and surrounding other stuff that we probably don't need to talk about, but hey, it's fine. Make sure to follow us on all the good old social medias. Facebook, Twitter. We're almost at the 300 mark on Twitter, which, you know, isn't a big grand thing, but it's nice for us. We should be crossing the 20,000 total download mark pretty soon at least
pretty
by Podbean's metrics.
Right.
Now that doesn't always encapsulate everything, but that's what Podbean tells me from using their site. And I'm pretty sure we have 100 followers on Podbean, which is actually good for a show our size.
Yeah.
Of course, a lot of that came when they really random, but around, I feel like I might have told this story recently too, but when Rise of Skywalker came out, we got featured in their blog for some reason. I remember getting reached out for that, and I was like, okay. Yes. Please place us in that blog. That actually got a lot of followers, so that was kind of neat. They're probably all robots. It's fine.
Right.
They're all Valances out there just listening in. But yeah, hopefully you guys are enjoying the podcast. If you have some topics you'd like us to talk about, or, you know, stories, you know, that you have about even just your own personal Star Wars stories, we like hearing those kind of things as well. Or, you know, what did you think about Bounty Hunters or Bad Batch, or, you know, what are you excited about in the Star Wars future? Again, you know, in the near future, we've got Bad Batch, we've got Thrawn. We'll have more High Republic before too long. Book of Boba towards the end of the year. Probably Mandalorian, I would assume, more towards the beginning or spring of 2022. Celebration 2022. You know, there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot coming up. Sometimes we're a little pessimistic about it because it's not soon enough. But it'll all get there. Yeah, it'll all get there. So yeah, at TC Plan Podcast, Twitter, Facebook. If you want to send us an email with just any of the things that I just laid out there, tcplanpodcast@gmail.com. So any final thoughts from you?
No, not really.
No dark side incantations to snare them to listen to us longer.
No, only you silly light side users manipulate people's minds. Not even the dark side's willing to do that. That's just messed up.
No, you just choke them.
Exactly.
We just do tricks.
I don't force them to do things they don't want to do. I just force them to stop breathing.
Ouch.
Which is technically is something they don't want to do, but I don't care.
Only Siths deal in technicalities. All right, folks. We're going to go ahead and sign off. Hopefully you guys have a great rest of your week.
And as always, may the Force be with you.